All right, guys, I want to come on here and talk about idolatry. So, when we think of idolatry, we often think of, biblical times where people would like build statues of like golden cows and bow down to that and worship that. But I'm here to tell you that it's still very prevalent in our society today. I want to give you guys an example, even in your own lives, when things are hard and scary and things are going wrong in your life, what do you run to more often than not? I challenge you, what are the things you're running to? Are you, some people might be running to, like Netflix or TikTok or a relationship or doom scrolling, or they're running to substances or things like this. But I'm here to tell you that whenever you're running to those things first, you're putting those things before God. So, I want to challenge us as Christians to take those things and kind of make sure that we run to God and turn to God in the hard times. Because, if we're all being honest here, life can be super difficult and super scary a majority of the time. And, you might not be thinking about it, but maybe you're idolizing that TV show, or you're idolizing this, or this over praying to God about your problems, or getting in the Word and reading about your problems and what the Bible says to deal with your problems. I want to relate this over to Genesis. I want to talk about keeping your eyes on God and not ourselves, and why that's so important. So we look at Genesis 3, and it talks about how Adam and Eve are obviously in the garden, and they're told not to eat of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And they go and they're deceived by the serpent, and they eat of the tree. So they are, these perfect, amazing people, and they take their eyes off of God, and they go and they focus on what the serpent is saying, and they eat of the tree, and then they kind of enter sin into the world because they did this thing that they weren't supposed to. And that can often be how our own lives are. Sometimes we'll idolize other things when we take our eyes and ears and whatever that might be off of God, and we put them on other things, earthly things. Then they might not even be things that you think are super harmful, but if you're running to those things in hard times over turning to God, you're going to be left still stuck in those hard times, still wondering why things aren't going your way, why you can't be satisfied with what's going on in your life. And I'm here to tell you guys, just think about what your daily bread is. Where do you find your daily bread? Is it in food or Netflix or substances or a relationship, or are you finding your daily bread in God?